which I think in the States they are here too also, but in Canada they are recognized as a nation of people. And when the French made their way to Canada, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. When the French immigrated into Canada, and they were there fur trading and trading, they ended up having children with native people, and those people were no longer just indigenous or just French, they were a mix, and so they called themselves Metis, and they have a style of fiddling, and it's very known in Canada, and definitely the kind of Midwest part of Canada, and Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And they have, their fiddle style there is very, very rich. And I myself am not Métis. I am Odawa, but I do have a little bit of Irish in me. And so when I learned about Métis music, it really connected with me. And there was a documentary called The Medicine Fiddle. And when I first watched that movie, at the time I was being kind of picked on in my own community for playing fiddle. My community didn't really see this as a part of our culture. So I connected with that movie, and it gave me a space to be able to be like, there's other people who are indigenous who also play fiddle and that are mixed. And so I really connected with Métis fiddling, and later on in life I ended up meeting a wonderful fiddler from Toronto named Letterman, and she put on a project where she connected indigenous and Métis youth with Métis elders and indigenous elders in Toronto, and we learned tunes from them. The tune that we're going to play next is actually not a tune I didn't learn that weekend, but I definitely heard recordings of this most of my young teenage life with my mom playing. Once we learned Métis, my mom went out and found every Métis CD, every Métis movie, whatever it was, to just keep that playing in our home. And this is one called The Drops of Brandy that I actually learned off of a wonderful YouTube of Patty Strock and her son and Jeremy Russo playing. So this is called The Drops of Brandy. And if you are familiar with old time, you might recognize a little bit of it. It sounds a little bit like Leather Britches.